जय। जय।
श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की।
Radhe Radhe, everyone. We want to welcome Nikhilanandji, who is a Hindu spiritual leader here in Austin, Texas. From a young age, he's been attracted to the teachings of Hinduism, and he's been living in the ashrams of JKP, where he's been fortunate to come under the guidance of Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. Therefore, living in the ashrams, he studied the philosophy and the prime scriptures, and he's practiced meditation and the tradition Raganuga Bhakti. In 2003, he was given sannyas. I ask that everyone turn off their phones and pay attention to this speech. Radhe Radhe.
Anandamananda Karaprasannam Premaswarupam Brajbhavayuktam Yogindramidhyam Bhavarogavaidyam Gurum Kripalum Pranamami Nityam. Rasoya Paramananda Eka eva dvidha sada Shri Radha Krishna Rupabhyam Tasmai Namo Namah. Namah Kamalnabhaya Namah Kamalmaline Namah Kamalpadaya Namaste Kamale Kshana Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tagmangha devamatma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Dear devotees, let us start with a few minutes of Nam Sankirtan. After that, we'll get the chance to consider a few points that we should keep in mind during this sadhana shivir. Bhajo giridhara Govinda Gopala. Bhajo giridhara Govinda Govinda Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki. Radhe Radhe everyone, and welcome to our annual Summer Sadhana Shivir as established by Shri Maharaj Ji in 2012, I believe it was, when we had our first one. Every time this first evening, I like to just cover a few basic points that we can keep in mind and then review when we do the Atma Nirikshan every evening. We can just touch base on a couple points, and that gives us a focus throughout the sadhana shivir so that we can evaluate our progress and maintain our engagement in the devotional practices of this intensive. So let's take 3 things that we can try to work on this week. The first one, we'll say dinata, namrata, humbleness. This is something we really get a chance to practice during an intensive in the ashram. In the world, you have to practice humbleness in a different way because you can't overtly behave humbly all the time. It's just not appropriate in every situation. Many times, you may be the boss. You may be managing other people. Or you may have to just stand up to someone. So it's more confusing, or more, I guess we could say more complex to live with that feeling of humbleness when we're out in the world. But here in the ashram, there's much less complexity to it. That doesn't mean that it's not equally challenging to maintain the humbleness, but the complexity is not there, meaning, how should I behave in this situation? In the ashram, during an intensive, the answer is always, just be humble. Just yes. Yes, whatever you say. 99.9% of the time, that's the right answer. We don't have to think about it. This is something we can practice and we need to practice, and if we do practice, we'll see great benefit. We get a lot less stress. The more humble we are, the less tension we have in our mind. The ultimate limit of humbleness is described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ji. That is what we need to aspire to. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hari. He says we should be more humble than a blade of grass that is tread upon but doesn't grumble or argue back. We should be more forbearing and forgiving than a tree which is used and plundered and instead of becoming angry, gives and gives and keeps on giving. The analogy that Sri Maharaj Ji gives is that the mango tree, what do you do to it? Oh, I want that mango up there. You take a rock and you throw it. So you're throwing rocks at the tree, and what is it giving you in return? Beautiful, sweet mangoes. This is the ultimate example of forbearance. We cut the tree's branches, and nevertheless, the tree provides us shade. So grass being stepped upon, bending, and then just popping back up and going on with its day. The tree that gets cut and get stones thrown at it, just goes on forgiving and giving. Amanina manadena. Instead of looking for others to respect us, don't tread on me, don't throw rocks at me. No, instead of looking for others to respect us, we should look to give respect to others. These are things we're afraid to practice. And our mind comes up with excuses. Oh, but if I behave like that, then even here in the ashram, somebody's going to take advantage of me. This one is always bossing me around. So it's only 2 weeks. It's a 2-week intensive. Or 1 week, or however long you're staying. Maybe we could say it's different because we don't have that level of tolerance that we could practice for the rest of our life, right? If we're in the ashram and some situation is difficult and we're living in the community with this person for the rest of our life, okay, then maybe you have to think about, this is not working for me. I just can't handle this situation with this person, so let me figure out a solution. But for 2 weeks, just give in. Okay, whatever you say. It's okay, we can manage that for 2 weeks. There's no risk in that. Our mind comes up with excuses and fears. Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't let this person tell me what to do. Maharaj Ji says, Sar pe chad jayega. Nahi, jawab dena chahiye. So Maharaj Ji says this philosophy of ours, that if we don't talk back to the person or put them in their place, then they're going to just take more and more advantage of us. He says this is actually not the right philosophy. When somebody speaks in a rough or angry way with you, if we answer back the same way, if we think that like fight fire with fire, then it very quickly escalates. It's much more effective to diffuse the situation and also to spare ourselves the heart problem we get afterwards, right? It's always a regret when we fight fire with fire, because later on we think, did I really need to do that? Now I'm feeling disturbed, the other person, am I feeling more disturbed now that I fought fire with fire and I got all worked up? Or would I have, or compare that to the other person told me something and I said, जी हाँ, भले ही वो हमारा जूनियर है और वो मुझे कुछ कह रहा है, जी हाँ, हमारा क्या जाता है? So compare that, okay, that was a little uncomfortable. I gave in to that person. That person told me I was wrong or told me do it this way. And I felt a little, oh, you shouldn't be speaking to me that way, but I bared it. I didn't say anything nasty. I didn't get angry. So compare that feeling after the fact. Okay, little uncomfortableness, but I got through it. Compare that to, oh, once we get going and worked up, which one was more nuksan karak? Which one caused us more harm and more? For how long did that feeling of being disturbed last? Of course, it's when we get worked up and start engaging in some kind of back and forth with that person. That affects us much more negatively than just saying, yes, sure, whatever you say. Even if we have to say that 50 times in the next 2 weeks to this person that we don't even like, they don't even know what they're talking about. Keep saying, yes, it's okay, sure, whatever you want. I also have to remind myself, is one of my worst faults, is focusing on the goal. This thing has to get done. And right now you're in my way. Because I'm in a hurry and I have to accomplish this thing. It's seva, but still, I have to accomplish this thing. So then I speak in a short way with someone, and I'm not kind enough to a person. And then, so again, compare the two outcomes. Okay, the thing didn't get done. Then what? Okay, maybe a little inconvenience, maybe something was late, few people were inconvenienced, something didn't happen the way everybody wanted it to. So that's what happens if I didn't accomplish the thing I was supposed to accomplish. Compare that to this person got their feelings hurt. That's different than being inconvenienced, right? So if in the process of doing our seva, we're causing hurt feelings, that's actually creating more tension, because then we feel guilty afterwards. That's going to stay with us. We'll keep thinking about, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. So we are dealing with all that. That person's also dealing with the hurt feelings. Compare that situation to, oh, the thing got done a little late or not quite as well as it could have. That's more desirable than getting the thing done on time, but having the hurt feelings. Probably not at work, not in any kind of corporate situation, but here in the ashram, it's different. These are things we can keep in mind. We should be taking our opportunity, and I'm speaking for myself as well, taking our opportunity to do seva as an opportunity to practice humbleness, not just to get a thing done. Yeah, we want to do it right. It's for our guru. So of course, the objective is to do it right, but it's also an opportunity to practice that kind of humbleness. And this is something important when we're taking advantage of all the opportunities to do physical seva that we have over the next 2 weeks. We can just keep in mind that what is really going to please Shri Maharaj Ji. Yes, our intention should be there to complete the seva correctly. Of course, that will make him happy. But do you think along the way, giving in to someone, even if they're wrong, apologizing to someone, even if you didn't do anything wrong, and being kind to someone, even if it makes the seva not get done in the ultimately desired way, that's all going to make Shri Maharaj Ji more happy than getting the seva done in the 100% right way. Okay, maybe not when it comes to like building Prem Mandir or Maharajji's museum. These are different situations, right? Where the final product is going to be permanent. So there you can't worry so much about people's feelings when you're working on such a project. But when we're talking about getting the tables wiped, getting the sabzi cut, getting the rotis made, whatever seva we're doing, that's not going to have any lasting impact, right? As far as 100 years from now, somebody's going to know that that roti was burnt. So we take the seva seriously, but not too seriously. We have to prioritize the kindness and the humbleness, and also keep in mind we want to do the seva in the right way. So this is the first thing we can practice, is the humbleness. And along with this, when we're sitting in the hall, there's something that is written on all of our, you probably thought, wow, Bhaiya must be really thirsty bringing his full water bottle up on stage for a lecture. No, I brought it as a prop because all the things that we produce in our ashrams in India, they all have this one thing written. Of course, Radhe Radhe, but then ro kar pukaro. So this is not like some kind of branding that, oh yeah, sab mein chap denge, we're going to stamp this on everything. This is our JKP brand. No, it's not branding. It's a constant reminder that if we're truly humble, then there should be no problem in crying for Radha Krishna, crying for Maharaj. Oh, I never met Maharaj. It's okay, you can meet him. Cry for him. He'll come. Cry for Radha Krishna. Why don't we? Why don't the tears come? Because we actually don't feel destitute without them. We don't feel that humble. So we should examine ourselves, look in ourselves. Why am I so afraid of being humble? What's holding me back? And we all are striving to reach that ideal of humbleness. So we shouldn't berate ourselves or feel any kind of being disheartened that, oh, I'm not humble. No, it's okay. However humble you are, just work to be more humble. We'll all see, even in this short time of this shivir, we can become more humble if we work on it. And then when we're sitting here doing the kirtan, we should always think, Rokar Pukaro. Okay, am I doing Roop Dhyan? Am I really visualizing Radha Krishna? Okay, yes, I'm visualizing them, but I'm still not getting tears. Rokar means cry, shed tears. Pukaro means call them. You're calling them when you're doing kirtan to come to you. We should, whenever we sit, every time there's a change in kirtan, just ask ourselves, okay, am I doing that? Am I doing Rokar Pukaro? Do I feel humble in front of Radha Krishna? Am I just doing the Roop Dhyan, which is not bad? Okay, it's a good start. But can I do better? I'm doing Roop Dhyan, but am I really crying for them? Am I calling out for them? This is the second thing we can focus on. When we're sitting here in the hall, ask yourself, am I doing that? Rokar Pukaro? Do I sincerely feel that I'm calling for Radha Krishna and Maharaji to come to me? Or am I just going through the motions? Right now, out of discipline, I've come to this session on time. I'm sitting here doing the kirtan, and I'm following the discipline of the sadhana shivir. It's good, but can I do more? Okay, I'm sitting here anyways, so why not practice humbleness again while doing the kirtan? Okay, we can even scold ourselves a little bit. Oh, my mind, what are you so proud of that you don't cry for Radha Krishna? You're so busy running around thinking of this thing and that thing. All of this is so important, more important than thinking of your beloved Radha Krishna. We can scold our mind a little bit and bring it. Why don't you feel the desire to meet Radha Krishna? Why don't you feel humble in front of them? That's okay. Again, not in a depressed way, in a positive way, in a productive way. Bring our mind into focus and try to feel that humbleness in front of God and Guru. This is the second thing. The first thing is humbleness in Seva, humbleness in our interaction with all the other sadhaks here in the ashram. And the second one is to really put ourselves on the spot, call our mind out. Are you doing Rokar Pukaro? Are you really putting in, is your heart really in the kirtan? Or are you just singing notes and repeating words? Are you really singing with feeling to Radha and Krishna? The third thing that we can practice during the break times is kam bolo. Speak less. All these things go together. If we speak less, that also supports our devotional mood. The less we speak, the less likely we are to get agitated by talking to someone else or cause them to get agitated. The more we speak, the more we're likely to say just something is going to come out that's going to not sound right to somebody else. Or it's our nature to joke around a little too much and somebody's feelings get hurt. Or we're just talking unnecessarily when we could be doing Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Maharaj's main instruction for us, the main sadhana outside of sitting and the time we're doing the Rup Dhyan, when we're sitting and doing sadhana, the main sadhana is the Radhe breathing. Inhaling with Ra and exhaling with De. This practice is like a cure-all. If you're just keep your mind engaged in that, then mind will not get drawn into negative thoughts about the people we see around us, because that's also our nature. It's our mind is habituated to do that. So instead of fighting with the mind all the time, oh, why are you thinking something bad about this person? Why are you thinking? Just divert it. Just, oh mind, just do Radhe, Radhe. Problem solved. And all you gained by sitting here and doing Rokar Pukaro, you're not losing it by unnecessarily chatting and letting all the devotional feelings get dissipated through the talks with other devotees. So Shri Krishna says, Katham vinaro maharsham dravata va cetasa vina vinananda shrukalaya shuddhed bhaktya vinashaya. Bhagavatam. How could the heart be purified, which is the main goal of our sadhana, is to purify our heart so we're qualified to receive Guru's grace. He says, how could the heart be purified? Unless when you remember him and when you chant his name, you feel a thrill and you get the goosebumps, your hairs stand on end. How could the heart be purified if it doesn't melt? And you don't get tears when you think of God and Guru. Shri Krishna says the heart is not purified by the physical formalities of devotion. It is purified by the sincere longing and the tears to meet Radha Krishna. So while we're doing that in the hall, we're earning, we're gaining. But then when we go out of the hall, we have the danger of losing it. When we interact in a way with people, when we're not humble, when we talk unnecessarily, all of these things cause us to lose what we're gaining in here. So really all we have to remember is Radhe breathing. That just fixes all the problems. Therefore, if we keep these three things in mind, although we could make a much, much longer list, but it's good just to try to focus on a few things and then keep checking in with ourselves and reevaluating how we're doing with these things. So let us, during this sadhana shivir, focus on these three things. Our effort in humbleness, extreme effort in humbleness, to hold our tongue, hold our reactions, and just say, yes, you're right, over and over again. Yes, I'll do what you're saying, over and over again. Practice this. Practice wholeheartedly calling for Radha Krishna with Roop Dhyan and shedding tears for them when we're doing sadhana here in the hall. And during break times, whether we're taking a break or going for a walk or doing seva or resting, just keep practicing the Radhe breathing all the time, continuously. If we practice all of these things, or even if we practice any one of these things, we'll get tremendous benefit throughout this sadhana shivir. And each evening we're going to check in on these things. We have a practice that Shri Maharaj has recommended called Atma Nirikshan, which means self-evaluation or introspection. He says it's something we should do every evening before we go to bed. Just evaluate what things we've done that, check in. How are we progressing with the things that we're trying to improve on? And where have we made a mistake or done something which has robbed us of our devotion or disturbed our devotion today, or maybe disturbed someone else? So we'll be doing these personal check-ins with ourselves each evening after Shri Maharaj's video. So we're going to have a few more minutes of kirtan now, and then we'll have a short orientation followed by the daily video of Shri Maharaj, special videos to give us a feeling of closeness with Shri Maharaj, feeling Shri Maharaj with us all the time here in Radha Madhav Dham is the goal of coming here. So by watching these more personal, more informal videos with Shri Maharaj, we get to see that loving, playful side of him that makes us feel closer to him and makes us feel that he's not just Jagadguru, he's my Maharaj. So we'll be watching these special videos every night, and after the video, we'll be having the Atma Nirikshan and more kirtan after that. So let us have a few minutes of kirtan and Roop Dhyan, and then we'll have a little more orientation. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe
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 Radhe Radhe Govinda 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 Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe
Bolo Shyama Shyam Ki. So I think Chirag Bhaiya is going to lead us through a little bit more orientation right now. And I'll just mention a couple of things from my side. One is that this is a sadhana shivir, so we're not providing parallel programming for the kids. We do that in the winter camp, in the family camp that we have in the winter. There is an afternoon music class we're offering that for the kids. And there's also a Seva time in the mornings. So that Seva time is for anyone. The Seva time is either outdoor Seva with me, or sometimes we also have some indoor cleaning projects. So this Seva time is there as an option for you. If you prefer to be in the hall, that's excellent, that's great. Then everyone of any age, kids as well, you're encouraged to stay in the hall, do the sadhana, watch Maharaj's lecture. But if you'd like to participate in the Seva, I'll be doing that every morning at Maharaj's Bhog is at 9, right? Till 9:30. So I'll be starting at 9:30 every day after Shri Maharaj's Bhog. We'll be meeting by the Shivji shrine. Anybody who wants to do Seva can meet over there. And just keep in mind that parents, because we're not doing any official programming for the kids, so they are your responsibility. You shouldn't just leave them to play in the lobby or leave them to wander around the property on their own. They're your responsibility.